The next part of the financial planning process is what you call the financial blueprint. Now, ano bang purpose ng financial blueprint to begin with? Well, the most important part when it comes to a sales process is that you get to pass to the client or you make them realize kung nasaan ba talaga sila. Okay? This is where a reality check comes in. My name is Ray Vincent Jo. You can call me Coach Arvid. And for our reality check for today, let's get started. So what I usually begin with when it comes to the reality check, para malaman nila kung nasaan sila currently in terms of their finances, is, of course, earning. How much are they currently earning? Diba? And the way I do that is, of course, I ask them first, Mr. Client, if I may ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, you're earning your dream income, and of course, 1, you're not earning quite likely yung pinaka-gusto mong income. As a matter of fact, ang layo. How would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to your earnings? And of course, you wait for them to answer. Siyempre, most of the time, this is where you listen as a financial planner because dyan mo makikita. Non-verbally, they will transmit a lot of information. Perhaps also verbally, maririnig mo sa tonality nila na perhaps hindi pa sila ganun ka-fulfilled. It's very unlikely na magpo-proceed sila sa financial planning process if perfect na yung financial situation nila, especially when it comes to earning. So you just wait for them to answer. If ang sinabi niya is, I'm currently at a 5 out of 10. Pag sinabi niya yung ganong score, you acknowledge by saying, Mr. Client, thank you so much for being honest. If I may ask you, just for us to be more specific around this, how much ba yan in terms of figures? Para malaman mo. Okay? As a financial planner, the best way that you can help your client is if nagiging specific siya sa figures na binibigay niya sa'yo so that you can create a pure evaluation kung nasan ba talaga siya. After getting the figures of the client in the earnings aspect, you want to ask him or her about managing money. Now, bakit mo siya gustong tanungin when it comes to managing money? Well, of course, to begin with, this is where you actually enter the picture, hindi ba? As a financial planner, you get to help your client pag-manage ng pera niya so that alam niya kung saan niya dapat ilalagay yung pera niya, how much ba yung kinikip niya sa sarili niya. And for this aspect, yung pinaka-importanting part is malaman mo kung magkano ba yung nasi-save niya para sa sarili niya. Okay? Now, of course, going back to that part, you will always start with asking the client to evaluate himself pagdating sa kanyang savings. Okay? So if you may ask, no, Mr. Client, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being ang dami mong nasi-save, or you could say na ang ganda ng pag-manage mo sa pera mo, walang kulang, no? If anything, sumosobra pa, that will be your 10 out of 10. 1 naman is perhaps hindi ka pa nakakapag-manage properly ng pera mo. Or maybe if you're being inconsistent when it comes to you managing your money, maybe a score of 5 out of 10 or somewhere around that number would make sense. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Client, how would you rate yourself in terms of managing your money? So mag-antay ka ng sagot niya. And of course, whatever that is, you just acknowledge the client for being honest sa kanyang sagot. Especially sa part na yan, no? Kasi hindi madaling maging honest na hindi mo pala alam minsan yung ginagawa mo sa pera mo. Okay? But this is where you give the assurance that, Mr. Client, thank you so much for having this session with me. And thank you rin for being honest because this is now where I can enter the picture to help you. So mamaya, I will help you as well when it comes to managing your money. Okay? Now, after managing your money, and remember, ang point ng savings is for you to know kung meron pa bang natitira. Well, paano ka makakapag-invest? Paano ka makakapag-protect ng pera mo if walang sumusobra, di ba? Now, this is where we proceed to what we do sa surplus ng pera. Okay? So the first part is, of course, the next question perhaps, yung number 3 mo na question, is in terms of protecting his or her assets or even yung money niya lang. Okay? So, Mr. Client, in a scale of 1 to 10, if I may ask you to evaluate yourself, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, how would you rate yourself in terms of how you're able to protect your finances? Protect saan? Diba? Kung magtanong yung client, no? Protect sa mga circumstances na hindi natin gusto. For example, nagkasakit. Meron na bang mga protection plans? For example, knock on wood, nag-pass away si client. Meron ba siyang mga loved ones na kakailanganin ang financial support niya? Or kailangan ng pagpe-preparation ng finances niya so that if nag-pass away siya, something bad happens, they will still be financially supported. So you want to dig deeper into that sa protection part if ever nagtanong yung client mo. Now again, antayin mo siya sumagot on a scale of 1 to 10, and whatever answer na ibigay niya, still, i-acknowledge mo si Mr. Client for just being honest. And this is where you also give assurance that, Mr. Client, I have good news for you. Since nandito ka ngayon, one of the best investments na I will be sharing with you later on is how you can protect your finances. After protecting your assets, considering na meron ka pang surplus, this is actually a good bonus for you, especially for people who want to really expand when it comes to their finances. Yung ating tinatawag na giving or tithing money. Okay? Now you might ask, Arvin, ano ba ibig sabihin itong tithing or giving money? Well, we can go biblical on this. No? Sinasabi sa Bible that whatever it is that you're earning, you're willing to give back 10%, hopefully, okay? Hopefully, if meron pang surplus, you're willing to give back to the church or for any good purpose that you're willing to stand for, no? Basta may sinusuportahan ka, mga around 10% of your income goes into tithing or giving, okay? Now, that is obviously a bonus, guys. Still, you will run through the process of having the client evaluate himself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being grabe palang mabigay ito si client, no? So yun, Mr. Client, if grabe ka mabigay, score yourself, rate yourself a 10 out of 10. If ever naman wala or kukurampot lang ang namimigay mo, if there's any, you may consider yourself as around 1 out of 10%. You may consider yourself as around 1 out of 10 or whatever for that lower number. Okay? Now, of course, it's also good to remind Mr. Client na this is a bonus for a reason. 'Di ba? Hindi naman tayo mamimigay dapat if tayo mismo, no, babad na babad pa pala tayo sa utang, or perhaps may mga financial obligations tayo na kailangan mo nang i-cover. Okay? So, that's the reason why we share it as a bonus. Okay? And last but not the least, and perhaps this is where you'll enter as a financial planner, no? Kanina pa natin sinasabi enter niyan. Kumaga, this is where you're able to give the most value because ngayon, pag-uusapan nyo yung investing aspect. Okay? Now, the way you would want to ask this is, of course, Mr. Client, a good benchmark for you to be able to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're going for 10 out of 10, it would mean na kumikita yung mga investments mo, if there's any, around 10% or more on an annual basis. Ibig sabihin, natatalo mo yung inflation, natatalo mo yung normal performance ng market, or perhaps you just really have something going well for you financially in terms of your investment. That would be a 10 out of 10. Now, of course, if wala ka naman talaga investments, especially with a lot of people, no, na hindi pa sa kanila na-introduce to maaga because of the lack of a good quality financial education here in the Philippines, you may guide them to scoring themselves around 1 or 2 out of 10, whatever it is that they feel that actually resonates with them. Okay? So still, ipascore mo pa rin yan, iparate mo pa rin yan para sa kanila. Okay? Just allow them to be honest and still you acknowledge them. Mr. Client, thank you so much for letting me know and being honest if ever wala silang investments. For being honest na wala ka pa palang investments. Now, if I may ask you lang, Mr. Client, are you willing to discover and to explore around this later on? Ano yung mga options na magandang simulan mo for you to have a good start sa portfolio and for you to, of course, have a long-term portfolio that will be working for you, not just now, but for your future and perhaps your future family, if that's in the picture for you. Are you willing to work on this later on? That's how you check in with them. Okay? Now, I want you to also remember na if ever naman ang sagot nila is may mga investments na sila, you might also wanna check with them kung ano ba yung mga investments na yon. Okay? Because your role here as a financial planner is hindi lang naman talaga sila bentahan ng bentahan, guys. Diba? You don't wanna do that. What you want is to also help them evaluate. Kasi dyan papasok yung pagiging professional mo. Malalaman mo, no, na, okay, Mr. Client, ang lakas yun na pala dito. Diba? Ang lakas yun na pala dito na aspect. How about we work on this aspect naman? Are you willing to explore and to work on this later on? Ganon. Okay? Now, speaking of asset classes, there's gonna be a section around that later on. But I want you to remember, and this is where you actually take note, no? Hopefully, na-take note mo to lahat. Lahat ng sagot ni Mr. Client, no? Whether you're in Zoom or harap-harapan kayo, dapat na-take note mo ano yung mga gusto niya i-work on, okay? And ano naman dito yung mga strengths niya, if ever there's any. Okay, with that being said, thank you so much. We'll proceed to the next module.